First up, our second title fight of the evening for the IBF Intercontinental Super Featherweight title, featuring Peter Judson. Ian Darke on a man for whom nothing has been easy in this game.
Hard man, loser, crazy, a bit of a nutter. Yorkshire's Peter Judson has heard the talk, but he says he's underrated and proved it against talented Welshman Dean Phillips.
He's won it! Peter Judson scores by far the biggest win of his career.
But even Judson's greatest moment was overshadowed as Phillips lay motionless in the ring.
I felt terrible. It was like your worst nightmare, didn't it? The hall went silent, you know what I mean? And it was just a great relief when he was okay.
It was only exhaustion, and Phillips will be back in the ring next month.
Can't wait to get in there, to be honest with you. I've had eight months now since the last fight, and raring to go.
You've got to put that to the back of your mind. He's in there to do, well, to beat you, innit? So he could be on the other foot as well, couldn't it? If I wasn't so fit. After all this, and then the fight's enjoyable. It means everything to me. I want to keep winning, and get some more titles and earn some proper money for all the hard work I've put into it. Because I've been pro like 7.5 years now. I want to earn some money.
It was from this Cardiff gym that Steve Robinson became a world champion. Now 22-year-old Barry Jones looks to follow a similar path. He's a classy stylist, but can he cope with the teak-tough Judson?
I think it'll be my hardest fight, since I've been professional. He's a good professional. He's a super featherweight, but I'm still a featherweight, so he'll be strong. I think he'll come out and try and stop me. So I've read in the paper anyway.
He's a good boxer. I've seen him. He's a good mover and that, but what's he going to be like in the pressure and getting some total constant pressure and getting it all the time? Turn up one night and I'll let these do talking.
He's emerged from the category they call the opponent category with a title belt at last. You work with Judson in this Phoenix camp in Manchester, Steve. How is he prepared for this fight?
He's prepared for this fight like he did for his last fight. He's in fantastic shape. He always is, Peter. He's really up for it. He's up to prove a point tonight that he is one of the best super featherweights in the country.
Do you detect there's been a mental change? The change from an opponent to title holder?
No, that won't bother Peter, that. He'll just carry on with his work, get on with the job.
OK, Barry, how does Jones view this chance tonight?
I think he spelled it out himself there in his interview. He knows he's got a lot of work to do. He's got to stay on the outside with this guy. He showed tremendous promise as a young guy coming through, showed great results early on, some great... beat Neil Swain in one of his early fights, beat Devaney, the British champion. So he's got tremendous potential, but he's only a featherweight. He's fighting a strong junior lightweight. Got to stay on the outside. If he can't, Judson will get him in the later stages.
Thank you, Barry. Let's get to the action then. Our master of ceremonies here tonight is Mike Goodall. We'll hear from Mike and our commentary team tonight, Glenn McCrory and Ian Darke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome viewers live and exclusive on Europe's premier sports channel, Sky Sports, at ringside on the road to Hillsborough Leisure Centre in Sheffield, where tonight Frank Warren for Sports Network Europe, in association with Alma Ingle, proudly presents Championship Boxing, sponsored tonight by Montgomery Leisure Services. We begin our coverage with the IBF Intercontinental Super Featherweight Championship, and would you first please welcome to the ring the challenger this evening, Barry Jones.
It's the biggest fight of Barry Jones's life so far. He's only 22. Comes from Cardiff, down in South Wales, of course. So far, unbeaten in 15 fights. Just one draw on that record, but in reality, most observers felt he won that one as well. He's not a big puncher, but he's a very neat stylist. He's a good amateur, and his tactics tonight will be to try to outbox and be too elusive for the pressure of Peter Judson. Been boxing since he was 10 years old. trained by the man who guided Steve Robinson to the world featherweight title, Ronnie Rush.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the IBF Intercontinental Champion, Peter Judson.
Well, this man has spent so long being cast as a journeyman and a trial horse for other fighters. Now, for the very first time in his life, he comes into the ring as a champion in his own right. It's the IBF Intercontinental belt that he holds. And that's Michael Brodie there carrying the belt into the ring for him. Newly crowned a title holder himself, the British Super Bantamweight champion. Judson, who's 27, sparred with a lot of top men like Prince Nassim Hamed and Paul Hodkinson. He's 5 years older than Barry Jones. He's paid his dues in the game a little bit. Same height, the weight. Well, Judson is the natural super featherweight. Jones is moving up from the featherweight division. Reach the same. Judson has had more fights and tougher ones too, really. Jones hasn't really established himself in the pro ranks and will start as an underdog here. And their knockout percentage, both of them very, very low. But Judson reckoned to be the stronger, tougher man of these two. The rules, mandatory 8, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the ref can stop the fight, and the bell will say the fighter only in the last round. These are IBF rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is sanctioned and conducted under the rules of the IBF. Their supervisor at ringside, Mr. Bob Graham. The steward in charge this evening, Mr. Dennis Lockton. The timekeeper, Mr. Frank Capewell from Sheffield. The judges at ringside, Mr. Dave Paris from London, Mr. Julio Bassi from Milan, and Mr. Hilton Whittaker from New Jersey in the United States. And the referee in charge of the action for this contest, from Wolverhampton, one of Britain's leading star referees, Mr. John Coyle, who has officiated in over 50 world title contests. Introducing to you the boxers. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner and coming from Cardiff, wearing the blue trunks with the white trim. As a professional, he has had 15 contests, 14 of those are wins, 1 win by KO with just 1 draw. He weighed in at 9 stone 3 pounds. Would you please welcome Barry Jones? And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, across the ring in the blue corner, wearing the gold trunks and coming from Keighley. He's had 35 contests as a professional, with 18 wins, 3 by way of KO, with 13 losses and 4 draws. He weighed in at 9 stone, 3 pounds and 10 ounces, and comes to the ring as the current IBF Intercontinental Super Featherweight Champion, Peter Judson. Referee Mr. John Coyle will now give his instructions to both boxers.
Shake hands, lads. Punches with an upper part of the glove, the only thing that counts. You both know the rules, abide by them. Obey my instructions at all times. Defend yourself at all times. Shake hands. Good luck.
12 3-minute rounds for the IBF Intercontinental Super Featherweight Championship.
Now this could be a pretty good fight. Nice clash of styles here. Judson likes to come forward, and he's never been stopped in 35 contests, despite being in with the likes of Colin McMillan, Daniel Alicia, who did quite well with Prince Nassim Hamed for a little while, and Cassius Baloyi, who is a WBU champion. It's a big test, this, for Barry Jones, and his first chance really to make a name for himself as a professional.
Judson is a real tough, strong fighter who just doesn't know the meaning of the word retreat. He comes forward all the time, very strong, and you're expecting to be stronger than Jones here. Jones really has to get into his boxing style as quick as possible.
Remembering too that Jones is moving up from the featherweight division. That could be an important factor here, because Judson's tough enough for other super featherweights. Already some red marking by the look of it around the eyes of Barry Jones. A bit worrying so early on in the contest. The left eye, not a cut, but something that could develop into one maybe.
Yes, I think one of the problems for Jones is, as a featherweight, he was not a big puncher. So in the super featherweight division against a very, very tough, rock-solid Peter Judson, you wouldn't expect that he could hurt Judson.
Judson does have 13 defeats on his record, but he says a lot of them were robberies. And some of the time he might have been right as well. He thinks he's been ripped off on other people's promotions, coming in at short notice, that sort of thing. The kind of thing, really, that happened to Dennis Andrews early on in his career, and he turned it all around in the most spectacular fashion, of course.
Yes, you feel that the confidence he will have gained from winning this title would have been very beneficial to him, and really make him start thinking like a champion.
It's already clear that Jones will have his work cut out to stay away from Judson and make his skills count for a whole 12 rounds here. That's quite nice flashy work from Barry Jones. Jones is an electrician who has to work during the day and then do his training at night at Ronnie Rush's gym down in the Tup-Ely district of Cardiff. That's good work from Jones.
That is good work. He's having to work really hard in the opening round just to keep on the move, to keep out of the way and try to flick these punches in.
Well, there's a relentlessness about Judson. He's a fearless sort of operator. People around his gym, the Billy Graham gym, say there's something a little bit crazy about him at times. He sometimes loses his temper when he's sparring and starts to let rip.
Well, he's just walking forward in a typical Judson fashion, but landing with some decent punches as well.
Could be good. Welcome back to the Hillsborough Centre in Sheffield, just opposite Wednesday's ground, where they're in action tomorrow against Newcastle.